Shimmy down, bang, bang, shimmy down, bang, bang. Shimmy down, bang, bang. Shimmy down, bang, bang, bang. Well, now that man's free and a routine grip with another left and watches right hand slip towards his long, 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 long.
Welcome back. I don't know what that whole first routine was, but it's Spider-Fan 101, and I'm back. I'll tell you why I'm back. I'll tell you why I took a long break after this. But for now, we're here to talk about the big one. The biggest movie of this year. The biggest movie that has come out. The movie that has been literally 10 years in the making. The movie that started a cinematic universe that everybody wants to copy. A film that is in celebration of a studio that everyone wants to copy. This movie being Avengers: Infinity War. Now, this will be a spoiler and non-spoiler review. I'll let you know when it gets into spoiler territory, although seeing as though this is the fastest movie to reach $1 billion, I'm sure that most of my subscribers have seen this movie already. So, if you've seen the movie, good. If you haven't, you might want to click off, because this will go into some spoilery details. Now, here are my thoughts on this movie. I loved it. I loved it. This is my favorite Marvel movie of all time. Now, before that, it would range between Spider-Man: Homecoming, Black Panther, and Deadpool. But after seeing this movie, this just blows every single one of them out of the park. The fact that they were able to balance so many characters, put so many of my favorite characters in this movie: Spider-Man, Gamora, Black Panther, Shuri, Iron Man, Star-Lord, and more. Amazing characters that have been built up for 10 whole years, and now we're in this movie to get their shine. And everybody gets their shine. And this movie's just amazing. The story was great. Thanos is by far one of the actually, he is the best Marvel villain that we've ever gotten. And I will go so far as to say that he is the greatest villain in general we've ever gotten. Like, in terms of all movies. And I really mean that. Josh Brolin did an excellent job. I can't wait to see him as Cable. That's crazy. I can't wait to see him as Cable. But Thanos is a very complex character. Now, this is where it might start getting into spoilery details. Like, Thanos is such a complex character because if you look at it in a certain perspective, like, if you, going back to Black Panther, if you look at, Killmonger's perspective of how he saw what he was doing is right, you could see what Thanos' intentions are and why you might want to side with him, because he does make some interesting, valid points. Now, of course, you don't see it in his logic because Thanos is a maniac, but in certain ways you could see where he's coming from, and I really enjoyed that about his character. He is super strong. Like, he's not some one-dimensional villain like a Dr. Doom and Fantastic who's just going around making people's heads explode. No, he actually, like, when he fights, like, at the here's when it gets into spoiler territory. I already said that, didn't I? But, at the beginning of this movie, when he beat up the Hulk in like around 30 to 40 seconds, I was shocked. Like, no wonder the Hulk was scared to come out the rest of the movie. Like, he got whooped. He got whooped. But for real, Thanos is super strong. He's got a presence to him. Like, every time he's on screen, you can feel his presence, which I really enjoy. Let's talk about the highlights of the film. Spider-Man, you already know, my favorite superhero of all time. Ever since I was like 5. Yeah, so there's no doubt in my mind that Spider-Man was one of, if not my, because I had a lot of favorite parts in this movie, but Spider-Man is obviously up there. And so is Gamora too. She had a very interesting story in this film. And I think this is the most fleshed out we've ever seen Gamora, which I do enjoy. And Gamora is a very fleshed out character. In Volume 1 and Volume 2, we got to learn more of her backstory and how Thanos basically adopted her, and how Gamora was his favorite daughter. And yeah, we get to see a lot more of that in this film, especially the scene where Thanos is talking to young Gamora, and he's holding this huge knife. Like, it's like Thanos' hand is like probably the size of that Incredibles logo right there. It's huge. It's like the knife was like the size of that. So if I were to hold it in my hand, like it would be bigger than my hand. I have to hold it with 2 hands. But especially that scene where he was doing that, I found that especially disturbing because while they were killing off all of, you know, the people on Gamora's home planet, Thanos is like, here, concentrate. And when the Chitauri start shooting at them, Gamora starts to look, and he says, and he does this, concentrate. I was like, that's so messed up. Like, yeah, Gamora's story arc was great, man. I mean, I'm gonna get to how her story arc ends, but because that's one of, because I only have like one major flaw with the movie. Everything else was perfect to me. I just have one major flaw, but I'll get to that later. The Guardians themselves, besides Gamora, they had a pretty substantial role, especially Rocket and Groot when they were with Thor. It was greatness. Especially that scene where Thor, Rocket, and Groot get into Wakanda. And Thor has Stormbreaker. And he's like, bring me Thanos! And he runs, he jumps up, this entire stream of electricity is flowing through his veins, and he looks like he looks the part of a god, because he has Stormbreaker like this, and he's like, Roar! And at the same time, it's like Thor Ragnarok, where there was lightning going all over the place, and it was just crazy. And all of that, in between all of that, the Avengers theme was playing. I don't see how you can get better than that. I honestly don't see how you can get better than that, for real. But yeah, the Guardians, they had a pretty good role in this film. Star-Lord is funny as always. Yeah. Black Panther. It was so good hearing his theme again. Because as soon as I saw it the first time, because I don't think you guys understand why it took me this long to get this out. Because I had to watch, the first time, I had no idea what I just watched. So because I saw it 3 times already. By this coming Saturday, I would have seen a 4th. So I had to see it 2 more times to really understand it. But when I heard, when I heard them talking about Vision, how they're going to take the stone out of his head, and it's a careful procedure, they have to find someone who could do it the right way. And then Captain America says, I know somebody. And while he's doing that, you hear the... I was like, oh yeah! And I was so excited. And the theater was too, because as soon as the theme started playing in full effect, everybody started clapping and cheering. It was great. But yeah, the story was great, the characters were great. Everybody was in character. It's just great, man. I have to applaud Marvel Studios, the Russo brothers, everybody that worked on this movie, because this is amazing. Amazing. Like, I gave 10 years of my life to this franchise, and I feel like this movie was fulfilling. It really was. Now, here, like I said that I only have one negative. And this is a pretty... These will contain massive spoilers. So, if you haven't seen the movie, get out of here right now. Okay? I'll give you 10 seconds. Alright, here we go. So, my one major flaw with this film has to deal with the deaths in the movie. Now, don't get me wrong, the deaths were impactful. I cried every single time I watched the movie. And when I cry, I don't mean like I teared up. I mean like Maze Runner 3 style crying at the end. I mean that for real. Because in Maze Runner 3, I was sobbing. Sobbing. And this is the second movie in all the movies I've seen in my lifetime where that's happened. And I really commend Marvel Studios for that, but I feel like they killed off the wrong characters. Like I get it, it adds that shock factor, and don't get me wrong, the last 5 minutes was one of the craziest and most, not only one of the most shocking endings I've seen in any movie, but it's definitely one of the boldest, bravest endings I've seen to any movie. Because you have to understand, in the Infinity Gauntlet comics, it's kind of in reverse this time, because whereas everybody gets reverted back to life in the comic and Thanos is looking to the sunset, it's actually reversed. Everybody died. Well, not everybody dies, but people you didn't expect to die, they died. And let's just watch the sunset, because that's what his plan was. That's what he wanted to do, and he fulfilled it. So he was there relaxing. But as I sat down and thought about it more and more, I couldn't help but think to myself, they killed off the wrong people. Like, Spider-Man, there was no reason to kill him off. Although it adds the stakes, because I get it, he's just a kid. But when I was crying, I wasn't crying because, oh, it's a kid, it's a scared kid. It's a scared kid that's about to die. He's like, no, I don't want to die. No. I was, although Tom Holland's performance was Oscar-worthy. But the reason why I cried is because that's Spider-Man. Spider-Man. Out of all the movies that have ever been made for Spider-Man, he always wins. He always wins. In every single one of his movies, he always wins, no matter who he's fighting. And if you think about it, this is the first time in movie history where we've seen Spider-Man actually lose. And not just lose, but got killed in the process. Now, Spider-Man has gotten beaten up a lot. There's no question about that. Spider-Man has gotten really beat up by his villains. But he's never been actually killed in a movie before. And that's something that I wasn't used to, you know? And so, I wasn't crying because, oh, it's a scared kid. I was crying because that's Spider-Man. And he lost. But, yeah, Black Panther died. He's got to come back, right? Because Black Panther is a cultural icon now. Like, before when Civil War came out, like, oh yeah, he's a great character. I can't wait for his movie to come out. Now that his movie has been out for like 8 weeks, I believe. The movie has not only gone on to win $1 billion, I hope it wins some Oscars in the long run, although I personally don't care about the Oscars. Black Panther is now a cultural icon. Wakanda is a place that everybody knows. Like, if you ask someone on the street, hey, who's Black Panther? They will tell you who Black Panther is. Like, before, in Civil War, like, they would kind of know Black Panther is, but they don't know the full story of Black Panther. But now, since everybody's seen the movie, they could tell you exactly that. But Black Panther is a cultural icon, so he can't stay dead. He just can't. Like, you just introduced... Black Panther is literally the last movie before this film. So you're going to tell me that the first movie that he has, Black Panther, is now a cultural icon. He's made so many... Like, he's inspired so many people. He's inspired people to be happy with the cultures that they come from. He's an inspiration to us all. And you're telling me they're just going to kill him the next movie he's in? It doesn't make sense. So no, he has come back. Although, the one that I was the most mad about was Gamora. Now, I love Gamora. She's my favorite Guardian. And I get it. Thanos had to kill someone that he loved to get the Soul Stone, and he didn't love anybody else except for Gamora. But come on now. Like, I know there are theories out there that she's trapped in the Soul Stone, and hopefully that's where all of them are. Hopefully that's where all of them are. Like, because if they're in the Soul Stone, they could be taken out. I don't know how, but they can all be taken out, one by one. They could be taken out. But the thing about Gamora is, like, she got thrown off a cliff. I mean, yes, she was in the scene where Thanos was inside the Soul Realm. She was like a little girl again. But she got thrown off a cliff. She hit the ground so hard that there was blood coming out of her head. Gwen Stacy style. Like, every time I think about it, not only do I get sad, but I get angry as well, because, like, I feel like it was too early. Like, if you had done it in, like, Phase 5, I would have been like, alright, it is what it is. And I love Gamora, but, you know, she's had a great legacy. And don't get me wrong, Gamora has had a great legacy so far in these movies. But she's only been in 3 movies. That's the problem with some of these deaths that I have. That's my problem with some of the deaths in this movie. They've only been... Most of the people that died have only been in 3 movies. Spider-Man, Civil War, Homecoming, Infinity War. 3 movies. Black Panther. Civil War, Black Panther, Infinity War. 3 movies. Gamora, Volume 1, Volume 2, Infinity War. 3 movies. Like, I feel like it was just too early. And maybe it's just me, but I feel like it's way too early. And it better fit. Marvel, I'm telling you right now, you better fix this. I don't expect for you to bring everybody back. Like, Winter Soldier, I'm like, whatever. But, like, people like Winter Soldier, I'm like, whatever. But you better fix this. You better bring Spider-Man, Black Panther, and Gamora back. And Scarlet Witch, too. And Doctor Strange, too. And that's another thing I need to mention. Doctor Strange was awesome in this movie. He was awesome. He's definitely took some lessons. He's definitely been training a lot more. He's been reading more books. Because the stuff that he does in this movie is awesome. Doctor Strange is awesome. I can't wait for Doctor Strange 2. And that's another thing. He dies too. Doctor Strange, Thor Ragnarok, Infinity War. 3 movies. Come on. Marvel, all I'm going to say is, you better fix this. Spider-Man, Black Panther, Gamora, Scarlet Witch, Doctor Strange, and bring back the rest of the Guardians too. Yeah, you better fix this, Marvel. But besides that, this movie was perfect. Besides that, I didn't have a single flaw with this movie. It was amazing. The performances was great. The action was stellar. The story was on point. The villain was the best cinematic villain I've ever seen. This is the second movie in history that has got me to sob in the theater. The first movie to do that was Maze Runner 3, The Death Cure. And now Infinity War's done it. So, yeah. Marvel, this was great. You should really be proud of yourselves. And we're all proud of you, Marvel. You've done the impossible. You've changed Hollywood. You've made all these movies. Like Spider-Man coming to the MCU, people said before that happened that was impossible. Yet you did it. The Fox deal that's going on right now. Hopefully that still stays intact. Please, please, please go away, Comcast. Nobody likes you. Come on, Disney. Get Fox, please. But people said that was impossible. Yeah, you did it. Or you're in the process of doing it. You guys, Marvel Studios, should be really proud of yourselves. Because you have quite literally changed not only the movie industry, but you have changed the world. That's right. You have changed the world. I hope you're proud of yourselves, Marvel. You should be. So, out of 10, because of that one major flaw that I had, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Because, other than that, this movie was flat out perfect. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it so much. Whew, I loved it. Here, let me show you my MCU collection real quick. See that? Look at that. Yup, feast your eyes. And Black Panther's coming soon too. So, yeah. On the 15th, I believe. So, yeah, that'll be there too. So, yeah. Now, moved a little bit. Okay. So, the reason why I've been gone is because I've been working on this project that I call Spidey Fan 101, a Star Wars story. Now, this is a project that I'm working on, and I'm currently still writing the script for. And let's just say there are a lot of characters in there that are my personal favorites that are in this show. And there are a lot of surprises, guest appearances, and a lot of story elements that I think will be really good for this show. And so I hope you guys go out support. I hope you guys go to the channel and support it. The channel is called Spidey Fan 101, a Star Wars story. Link is in the description below. And I will be posting a new trailer next week. I already put out the trailer 2 announcement for it. That'll also be in the link in the description, although that trailer announcement is on that channel. So, yeah. So bottom line, I'm gonna make a whole video talking about the concept of it, which I think you guys will really like. But, yeah. So, let me know in the comments down below. What do you think about Infinity War? And please leave your comments in the comment box below. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. And I'm Spidey Fan 101 saying peace.
My name is King T'Challa, son of King T'Chaka. I am the sovereign ruler of the nation of Wakanda. And for the first time in our history, we will be sharing our knowledge and resources with the outside world. Wakanda will no longer watch from the shadows. We cannot. We must not. We will work to be an example of how we as brothers and sisters on this earth should treat each other. Now more than ever, the illusions of division threaten our very existence. We all know the truth. More connects us than separates us. But in times of crisis, the wise build bridges, while the foolish build barriers. We must find a way to look after one another, as if we were one single tribe.